welcome back everybody to another video on how to use a lathe. So last video we covered how to rough turn your part. Okay, so we got our part, it's got a pretty rough surface finish. Okay, and we removed 100 thousandths in diameter. Our part is now close to our finish diameter, so we're going to shift gears here into finish turning, and I'm going to show you how to finish turn. It's pretty much the same concept. Besides, we need to change gears on our gearbox. Okay, so we want to select a finish cutting feed rate. Okay, so if you read the chart, finish cutting feed rate for steel is anywhere from 3 thousandths to 10 thousandths. Okay, so I'm going to choose the 3 thousandths again, or something that's really close. So 0.0026, that's close to 3 thousandths. I'm going to move this to letter E. Okay, so move this gear up to letter E. All right, we changed gears. We are in a finish cutting feed rate. Next step you need to do is you need to grab a dial caliper and measure the diameter of your part. Okay, I see that my part is, what do we got here? All right, we have 0.780. Okay, 0.780. So it looks like we are 30 thousandths large. Okay, that seems like a bit much, but really that's not too bad. Okay, so we're at 0.780. Okay, the dial caliper moved a bit, but 0.780. I'm gonna get some scratch paper here. This is what our part measures, 0.780. Okay, we want to get our part to, ideally we want to get it to 0.750. Okay, so 0.750, that's our goal. Okay, but we're not perfect. We are humans, so like we talked about in class earlier, we're working with a tolerance of plus or minus 15 thousandths, so 0.015. Okay, so our high limit, as big as we would want to go, would be 0.765. That's as big as our part could be. And as small as our part could be would be minus 15 thousandths, which would be 0.735. Okay, so that's our low limit. This is our high limit. Ultimately, that's our goal, but if we fall anywhere in this range, that 30 thousandths range, your part is good, passes an inspection. Okay, so that's where we need to fall into. Okay, so if I go to my high limit, 0.765, my part is currently at 0.780. We're only 15 thousandths away from this high limit. So if I change the diameter of my part by 15 thousandths, my part is an acceptable part. Okay, so we switch gears to finish cutting. Okay, and all of this, last video we completed operation 50. Okay, we are now on operation 60. Okay, so and we're going to complete that this video. So we just did some simple math here. This is my high limit, low limit. That's what my part measures. Okay, so we need to remove 15 thousandths. All right, so we're back at the lathe here. All we're going to do is we're going to do the same concept. I'm going to start the lathe up. Okay, we didn't change our tool, we're still turning, so you can keep the same tool set up from the previous video. I'm going to bring my tool over to my part, and we're just going to scratch our part. Okay, so just like before, scratch the part. As soon as it scratches it, sorry for the squeaking, you're going to zero out your cross slide. Okay, line up the zeros. I'm going to bring my tool to the right because we want to start cutting off of our part. And I am going to engage a much lesser depth of cut. So when you're finished cutting, the most you ever really want to remove is like 5 thousandths of an inch. So we need to remove 15 thousandths, but we can only remove 5, so this is going to take 3 passes to do. Okay, so I did 5 thousandths of an inch, okay? And I'm going to engage the clutch down here, lift this up, and it's gonna start moving my carriage extremely slowly, okay? That is finished cutting. What I failed to do, and I probably should do that, is put some oil on your part, okay? That'll help create an even smoother cut. Okay, so this is quite the long process. I'm not gonna have you go through the whole process. We're gonna do the 2 cuts, and then we're gonna get to the last cut, okay? So I'm gonna skip ahead here, and we'll see you on the last cut. All right, so we're on our last cut here. I actually brought it to 12 thousandths of an inch, okay? So my very last cut, I'm gonna remove even a smaller amount of material. So remember, we wanted to remove 15 thousandths. I'm gonna bring it to 15, so we are only removing 3 thousandths of an inch. It's just gonna be barely removing material. I'm gonna bring my tool by hand to the corner of my part, okay, using the carriage. And then we're going to engage our clutch, and it's gonna start cutting, okay, very slowly. And it's just gonna kind of do its thing. Okay, so our tool's moving across our part really slow. We selected a feed rate of 0.0026 thousandths. So that means every time your part rotates once, your tool's moving 2 thousandths of an inch, okay? So I am going to skip forward here and show you the finished products. All right, so my tool has traveled from right to left all the way across my part. It took about 2 minutes. Didn't want to have you all watch that, but this is a very important step now, okay? So what we don't want to do is we don't want to stop the lathe when our tool is touching our part, okay? So we're going to keep it spinning, and I don't really want to mess with my 0 on my cross slide, but you kind of have to when we're doing this, okay? So what you're going to do is, instead of just moving your carriage to the right, okay, that's going to scratch your part, okay? So we don't want to mess with our carriage. We have to move our cross slide. So I'm going to back out our cross slide, okay? So your tool is no longer touching your part. Turn off the lathe. I'm going to grab a rag quick, and I'm going to wipe down the part and inspect the surface finish. Okay, so I got the rag, wiped down the part, and inspect the surface finish, okay? It's kind of a visual inspection, but it's also you're feeling it with your hand, okay, your finger. Does it feel smooth, okay? This right now, it's pretty smooth, but it is not the best, if I'm being honest. So we're gonna try and fix that. How you can fix it, there's a few different ways. I'm just gonna explain them, and then you can kind of do it on your own. You can do what is called a 0 clearance pass, okay? So before you ever moved your cross slide, if you know that your surface finish isn't acceptable, you're not happy with it, don't adjust your cross slide. What you're going to do is you're then going to reverse your feed direction, okay? We were traveling from right to left. You reverse your feed direction, so now you travel from left to right, and without even touching your cross slide, we're going to do a 0 clearance pass. So that means you didn't even move your tool. We're now just going to do another cut traveling from left to right. Sometimes that cleans it up, smooths it out. But in my case, I think it's even too bumpy to do that yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement of my part, see what size we're at. Okay. See if I'm within my tolerance. Okay, so if I go over here, I'm actually right on the button, okay? I am at the maximum size possible, okay? I'm at 0.765, which if we went back to our scratch paper here, 0.765, that is our high limit. And 0.735 is our low limit of tolerances. So right now I'm right here. It's an acceptable part, still a bit large. It's acceptable though, so we don't care if it's large because it's acceptable. However, my surface finish isn't the best quality, so I still have a lot of material to play with here. I'm gonna remove a bit more material. I'm gonna do maybe another like 2,000 step to cut finish pass, and then hopefully that will clean it up. So that is finished cutting in a nutshell. I hope this video was helpful. See you on the next video.